I'm happy to be here and to see you smiling, kuona mko na wageni, seeing how God is doing great and wonderful works kwa life yenu. So niko na joy sana kuwaona wenye walikuwa shule mmekam. It's been long. Nimekuwa nikingoja kuwaona. Actually sikuwa nimeplan kukuja leo because ya homa, but nikaambiwa hata nyinyi mko na homa kuja. So yeah, tunashiriki kwa hiyo homa pamoja. So thanks Ann kwa kuplan hii event. Mimi kuwa na Ann Church. Tunashukuru sana also for rallying your friends to come share love na watu hii. Wamebarikiwa sana na nyinyi, and I know that their hearts are full of joy. One thing that I can tell you is word ya God imekuwa labored sana kwa life yenu. I know many people come to this place, they share the gospel with you, especially guys from Bible College of East Africa, myself, other people. Do you really have room for God's word in your life? Is God's word the only source of authority in your life, or experience na stories za wase ndio zinakam kukua kama authority kwa life yako? Tunaishi time ambayo watu wataki kuambiwa. People don't want to be told no. Kila kitu ni yes, positive vibes. And you know, but it's bad. It's bad. If truly you are born again, if truly you love God, if truly it is God whom you want to signify to the people, we must understand that His word must always remain to be our banner held high. His word must always remain to be our source of authority. Kuna advice nyingi huku nje mtapatana nazo. A lot of wise people, foolish wisdom being dispensed out here. Bad advices which will slowly take you out of, kutoka kwa word ya God. As you grow, remember that God's word must always serve as a guide. Must always serve as a guide. He knows you, He made you. Na aizi kumislead kupitia kwa word yako, kwa word yake. So you would do well kumtegemea, kusoma word yake, kujisok kwa word yake, kukaa na wase wanaweza kusaidia kugrow. Na deal na youth. Na sisi ni wajuaji sana. Tunataka positive vibes. But manze, hakuna place inatupeleka. Hakuna place itatupeleka. The reality is this, that we have a maker who made us, and He knows us better than our friends, better than the society. And inaweza kuwa great wisdom kama tunaweza soma God's word, kuiunderstand na kuiapply kwa word yetu. Tumekuwa society ya wase ambao ni lazy sana. We call ourselves Christians. But ukiulizwa swali kwa Bible huwezi ukajibu, because when you Christian too, because you bear the name John, you bear the name maybe Mary. But do you truly interact with God's word? How often do you interact with God's word? How often do you interact with God's word? And if truly you interact with God's word, to what extent has it transformed your life? We don't read God's word and remain the same. It must serve its purpose, and its purpose is to transform us, is to change us, to conform us into His image. God's word will never leave us kwa hiyo place ya comfort, place unataka kufeel tu positive vibes. God's word must always do the work of a sword. Lazima divide, lazima ikupias, lazima ikudunge, ikurarue, ikulete kwa hiyo humility ufilivo. Lazima ideal na hizo ego zetu, pride. Sometimes we don't want to be corrected, we don't want to be told. But God's word is here to rebuke us, to confront us, and to make us, after the image of Jesus Christ. Let us love God's word, young as we are. Let us believe in Him for salvation. He tells us that He is the way, the truth, and life. No one goes to the Father except through Him alone. This word will teach you other ways of salvation. We tell you that God's word is not the only source of wisdom. We have other wisdom that we can rely. We have psychology. Psychology is slowly taking people out of God's word and telling them that there is other solution other than God himself. Psychology is not the solution to this world's problem, but Jesus Christ is the only solution to mankind's problem. He is the only solution. Jesus Christ, he is the way, the truth, and life. No one goes to the Father except through him and him alone. These are words from Jesus, not from his disciples. Not from wise men who sat, chini ya mti wakadiscuss wakaona Yesu. No, Jesus Christ himself tells us that he is the way, the truth, and life. No one goes to the Father except through him. We all want to go to heaven. We all one day, want to live in the presence of our Maker. But we have only one way, and this is Jesus Christ. He is the truth. He is the truth. God is truth. His word is truth. His spirit is truth. If indeed it is truth that you want to seek, you'll only find it in God's word. Si kwa mabeshte, si kwa wisdom ya kina Classic na kina Kamene, kina Goro, kina nani, kina Churchill. No. Wisdom utaipata kwa scriptures. And for mabeshte wenye tumekam, if it is God truly want to signify to this society, kama unataka relationship yako stand, kama unataka life yako stand, it's up to you to choose. Unataka kubase life yako kwa foundation gani? God's word itakuwa foundation ya life yako, ama advice za wase, wisdom yako. You must choose. You must choose. Ilifika place Joshua akawaambia, nyi chagueni, but mimi na nyumba yangu tuna take this route. And time yenye servant ya God Moses alidedi in Joshua chapter 1, and God, called Joshua to come and fill viatu za Moses. He told him, let the book, the words, of this book, the law of God, the commandment, the statutes, never depart from your mouth. God knew what he meant. Never depart, the words of this book depart from your mouth. He knew what he meant. These are words of life. These are wonderful words which are able to make you wise unto salvation. Not just wise unto salvation. If truly you want to be wise in this society, si kuenda vile wanaenda, si kufanya vile wase wanafanya. God's word is able to make you wise, and wise unto salvation. Not just wise unto salvation. It must change you, it must pierce you, it must confront your ego. It must confront ourselves. Watch it to crash. Let us have that room for God in our lives. Kugrow na kuchange. And if you truly have tested the grace of God, also lead us into the same. Usikuwe mchoyo na Yesu. Rally wengine kwake, washo wenyewe have tested of this Christ, and I know for sure that he is good. So let us continue loving him. Let us continue, extend hii kindness kwa wase wengine, kwa children's homes zingine. Hii ni idea fiti. I've been doing this kukuja huku na children's homes zingine. Children ministry ni ministry ambayo inakuwa despised na wengi. Also for us pastors, wengi wanaonaga children ministry ni kama ni kazi kidogo, wanangangania the main church. But this is where blessings are. Huku chini, this is where blessings are. Let us serve God, and let us do it with two hands, not just one hand. He gave his two hands for you. He was pierced. He was crucified. He did not give just one hand. Let us serve him, and serve him faithfully, knowing that a day is coming when we shall stand before him and give an account. God's word reminds us that the life that we have is not our own, but it belongs to him. And soon one day, as the owner of this life, ata require to stand before him and give an account. Na tutapeana story mingi, because he is all knowing. Si ati anakuuliza juu ajui, he is all knowing. He is everywhere at the same time. Si kama mimi nikiangalia hivi naona hivi, macho yake kwa kila mahali at the same time. So may the Lord help us, na tubariki zaidi, tuendelee ku extend hii love kwa wase wengine. So asante sana.